Hey Capricorn, welcome back to Natural Mystic Messages. This will be your weekly reading for Capricorn, Sun, Moon, Rising, and of course Venus, because we love to love here. So don't forget, all the rules and regulations. Time is fluid, energy is interchangeable. The message don't apply, let it fly, all that stuff. So first off, we are going to get into the tarot. And I will be using the Everyday Enchantment Tarot, and the decks I link below. Okay, this one wants to come out. We have the Ace of Wands. You're feeling very creative at the moment, Capricorn. You have, I'm feeling like a renewed sense of yourself, like you've found yourself again, almost. The Chariot, there's definite forward movement. We have the Ten of Wands. This may be causing you a bit of distraction or chaos. You might have been still for so long that when you stepped out to move forward, it kind of felt a bit overwhelming. And you may be facing some health issues that you have been sort of set aside and not wanted to face at the moment. With the Ace of Wands here, you may be, I feel like during this time when you didn't really know yourself or know where to put your feet, you might have let a lot of things sort of slip to the side and sort of put yourself last. And that might be why you're feeling overwhelmed at the moment. You're like, oh, I haven't self-cared in so long, or done this or done that, and there's like a list a mile long of what you have to catch up on. Take it day by day and take it with a sense of pride when you are accomplishing the things that the list feels so long. You know what I mean? Words would be great. They are definitely not my forte. If I could energetically or telepathically send you this message, it would be a lot easier. I'm definitely feeling like a free horse feeling, like you're running through the field and you can feel the air rushing through your hair, or your mane, I guess, if you're a horse. Spirit's saying don't let the complications of everyday life take that feeling away from you. You can still stay in that feeling and accomplish the things you need to do day to day. Spirit's also saying put your phone down. If you're feeling overwhelmed or you're feeling like you just get on task and you've got to answer a message or answer a call, Spirit's saying just put it away. Put it away. Try to focus less on the clock and really tight schedules and routines. Try more to figure out what it is you want to do and just keep working towards it. The physical restrictions on, while it's your go-to and it's where you feel most comfortable, you've sort of come into a space where, while it's your comfort zone, it's also what makes you feel smothered and almost anxious as well. Does that make sense? So it's saying don't be, I'm seeing a moth to a flame, so don't be drawn back into those old unhealthy habits that sort of made you lose yourself. I'm hearing burnt out. Whatever it was that burnt you out, be careful not to fall back into that rhythm. Okay. We have the Star. What I'm getting from that is your fulfillment comes from helping others. As much as you have to put yourself first and do all those type of things, you find that the more you reach out and the more you give, the more your soul is fulfilled. And it's, for some reason, you're being put in the places, while it may feel like you're helping them, there's an energetic exchange coming back to you. You're getting this back tenfold is what Spirit's saying. And through your soul being fed, you're reconnecting with parts of yourself. Okay, so the last cards for the reading, we have the Hermit. So during this time out, and I know Capricorns, what feels like unproductive time can be very overwhelming for you. Spirit's saying you were probably more productive in this downtime than you've ever been. You spent that time, whether consciously or unconsciously, clearing timelines, healing ancestral wounds, healing your own wounds, working on your inner child, all this stuff that was happening, whether it be in your dream state or consciously, or just that you were having things come up, or you just needed silent time, whatever it was and however it looked for you, the work was so prevalent that it's now sort of set you such a, it's such a beautiful path that it's opened up for you. Like I'm looking off because I'm seeing it. It's opened you up to a whole new life. Like you will never go back to the life you had. You might fall into patterns and all that type of thing, but you will never go back to, I'm hearing as I'm saying this, like a void. Like there was always a void and you could never fill it, no matter how much you worked, no matter how much you socialized, no matter what relationship you were in, you could never fill that void. The healing you done during this time alone, and it might not have been that you segregated from the whole world. It might just be that you started keeping your thoughts to yourself. Whatever it is, you secluded some way. That was so, I just lost my train of thought. The joys of being ADHD. That was so enriching for you, and it filled that void, and it will continue to fill that void. And it opened up, and I'm going to repeat myself again here, I know I am, it opened up that path for you to travel forward and fulfill those needs that need to be met. And even if you're not feeling it now, it's leading you there. Next up, we have the Eight of Swords. I think for a long time you felt trapped in a life that you created, and you were aware you created. You're like, this is the life I wanted. What's the issue? Like, that's why it was so confusing for you. But you made those choices from old programming and from old subconscious narratives that told you that's who you should be. Like you made these decisions and started off on this path not knowing who you were and just following role models that you thought would be the, and it's not that they're bad role models, they're just not you, and nobody can tell us who we are. Some of you may have, you know, that have had that white picket fence dream, and that may have come crashing down around you and thrown everything out and onto the table, and you thought, this was my dream, it's not here anymore, we're not this mother, father, children dynamic that I was told we were supposed to have. This doesn't feel right. But at the same time, if it's not there anymore, it's been taken away from you for good reason, which has probably given you this time to assess, was this really what I wanted? Or just does the thought of something else make me feel so uncomfortable? The Empress is telling me you're a natural nurturer, which is why that life sort of drew you in, and your children were supposed to come to you if you do have children, and that was an agreement to bring, and I'm guessing they're probably very intuitive, perceptive children, and they were needed on this path of awakening. So that was why you may be in a situation now that looks a lot different than you thought it would, because one of your requirements and one of your agreements before coming in was to bring in one of these beautiful children. So along with the, or you may work with children, or you may feel drawn. Along with the Empress, we have the Queen of Cups. Now, I'm really getting the sense that, and one of the reasons for you pulling back as well is you had so many people coming in and leaning in on you. Not wanting to take from you, but it kind of was getting to the point where it was taking from you, because you were going through your own transformation at the same time, and you kind of didn't have a lot to give, but you were still giving from a place of an empty cup. So one of the reasons as well was to fill your cup so you can continue to give and reach out to people. And you may be thinking of moving into a line of work, social work, counseling. It could be a spiritual path. Whatever it is, and however that looks, in your own way, you will be fulfilling your sole purpose to come here. It doesn't have to necessarily be spiritual for you to be helping. Now, it's Dolores Cannon that says that the indigo children, they didn't have to come in and do a lot. They had to come in and get to the right vibration so they could energetically activate people. So you may be moving into or be in a job where you work with a lot of people and you don't necessarily want to leave that right now because you feel like you're on the right path, but you've got this conflicting feeling, but this is not spiritual. This is not spiritual. You would be, in fact, you'd have these symptoms of being an indigo child. Like you've got this deep sense to sort of help humanity, but at the same time you're being drawn into a job you don't really like, feel like you're not hitting a singing bowl each day and, you know, maybe drawing out tarot cards. But what that means is you're activating people energetically day in and day out. So don't for a second think your work is not being noticed, recognized, or changing the world. Now, on that note, we have, and I'm moving into clarifications now, the Ten of Pentacles. So whatever this new spark, this new you, this sort of coming out party, and you actually could be coming out, or you might just be coming out of your the broom closet, as they call it in the witch community, coming out of the broom closet, like letting people see your spirituality. It's actually going to be very beneficial for you in this 3D reality, because that's the Ten of Pentacles, sorry. This deck, it's wholly something. I will leave it down below. It's the fact that you're on your path, it's going to start aligning you with people you need. It's going to help you financially. You're going to feel safe and grounded in this reality. So I'm guessing a lot of the clearing you did would have been a lot of root chakra stuff, because you're suddenly getting a real grounded, safe space in this reality, and you know who you are and you're strong in that. And if this hasn't happened and you're still in that space of feeling really uncomfortable, it's because you've shed your skin, but you haven't stepped into who you are yet. And that may mean that you have to sort of get the ball rolling and get some momentum going to sort of help you get up onto your feet. Or it may mean that it's just coming in. It hasn't come in yet. And your intuition will tell you where exactly you're at. So just ask yourself, do I need to do something to get me there? And wait for the answer and trust what that answer is. And when I say wait for the answer, no one's going to appear in front of you. I mean, some people do have that the gift where people will appear in front of them, but it's a very small amount of people. So don't think for a second you're not getting messages. They're usually, and if you check, I do have videos on different types of psychic I sound really knowledgeable now, don't I? Like psychic skills, I can't think of the word. And how they actually sound and look, because it's so subtle. And I guarantee you, if you haven't tapped into what yours is already, and that's what I have in my videos. It's on a playlist. I think it's called something psychic. You'll find it. I guarantee you're already receiving these messages and are just unsure how. And those videos tell you exactly what they are and how they sound and how they look and all those ins and outs. So what was the whole point of that? Once again, my ADHD brain has come in. Yes, ask is, do I need to do anything? And if the answer's no, then just keep doing what you're doing. And if the answer's yes, then say, what is it? What is I need to do? And sometimes the answers, like I asked a question last week, what do I need to do for X, Y, Z? And my card that kept coming out was the community card. And I was like, well, how does that relate? So I've learned well enough now to just trust what comes. So I went out and joined a new community group, and I will see what happens. I'll keep you posted. Now, the Chariot, which is movement. This could be the urge to move house. Now, a lot of people, when they awaken, they sort of get the push to move to another area, that their energy might be needed there, or there might be an activation in the ley lines of the land in that area for you. So it might be important for you to move out there. Or moving jobs once again. Like sometimes we can't see 100% what the meaning behind some of these pushes and drives are. But if the drive persists and it's just, it keeps coming at you, you're seeing signs everywhere, follow it. Follow it. I mean, make realistic decisions for you and your family, but I can't emphasize enough that each step on this path definitely does lead us to where we've got to go, and sometimes we have to have a little blind faith Now, Ten of Wands, feeling overwhelming. Ace of Blades. Now, that was where I said there might be some health issues or some clarity that maybe you've put yourself behind for a bit. Some of you might actually, I'm hearing, like it could be like a pet. You might be worried about a pet's health. I think this is just really off topic. Thanks, Spirit. Let's get a clarification card. I think there's a few messages coming through from that, and it is very a diverse, vague message. Okay, what do we have? Ace of Cups. No, Son of Cups. So this is the Page of Cups. This is feeling a little bit on shaky ground. So like I said, if it's a pet, you might be a little worried, and it might be something that you need to get checked out. I'm also hearing some of you might be moving into like Reiki for pets. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. Let's stick to the story. So with this Ace of Blades, we have the Son of Cups, which I can hold this up. This is very young energy, and I don't mean young in age. It's very new, and it's kind of like when you try something for the first time and it feels very overwhelming and everything sort of looks like it's a big deal, and then within maybe 2-3 weeks everything becomes old hand. Kind of like driving. You know, when you first started driving and it felt like there was a million things you had to do when you get in the car, and now you get in and you don't, half the time you get to your destination and you don't even remember driving there. It's that secondhand nature now. That's what this is, and that's what looking after yourself and prioritizing yourself and putting yourself first is going to feel like a bit for you. You might have days where you feel a little greedy or overwhelmed or, you know, selfish, but maybe to help you, try change your views on what selfish is. Selfish is a good thing. It's just had such a negative connotation to it, and for so long we were taught it's selfish to want to look after yourself. We've been taught to be good boys and good girls. Spirit's saying, you know, it's coming from a lack mentality, which is something I'm actually working on at the moment. That passion and drive is for you just as much as it is for everyone else, and it's in that space where you're filling your own cup that you will become like a magnificent version of yourself that can just give so much more. So if you're struggling with it, know the more I give to myself, the better person I become, and the more I can give to others. So if that helps you alleviate that overwhelming feeling, definitely take it. Now we're going to look at see, so then we get down here, and I was looking into this energy of you being someone that everyone leans on, and the energy suddenly changed from the Page of Cups into the Father of Cups, which this is where you shine. This is where you're comfortable. When people are leaning on you and you're giving, this is where you're comfortable. To stay in that space, though, to be able to have the resilience to get up day in and day out, to be that person people lean on, you have to take this Son of Cups and turn it into a Father of Cups, because if you're giving from an empty cup, you're going to go back into that burnout energy. And if you haven't been in it, then this message is definitely a warning for you to make sure there's a balance in your life, or you will burn out, and you will then have to go through a whole heap of guilt and things because you can't be that person for people anymore, and you're going to feel like you're letting people down. If you've been through that trauma of maybe your family breakdown and, you know, having to reevaluate your life from a whole different perspective, we're going to pull some clarifications on that. I feel like the energy feels very unfair to you, like Three of Pentacles. What a surprise, the community cards come out too. Spirit's saying lean on and find people in your community that you can connect with and lean on. And if you've become a single parent, step out into, and I know sometimes they can feel a little cringy, well, they do for me anyway, but step out into those groups, because when you start to find a tribe and people around you, it will you'll feel less alone in this world. And especially if you're an indigo child, we spend a lot of our time not really understanding the world around us, and everything feels very confusing because it doesn't make a lot of sense to us. We're not from this world, so to speak. So connecting back in and taking this newfound wisdom and newfound view of everything, and all this new wisdom, knowledge that you've sort of gained from inside yourself, and just activating people in your community, but also at the same time allowing them to teach you back, allowing them to teach you maybe some 3D type of things, how to be more receptive, how to accept things, how to accept love when it's given to you. There's always something for us to learn from somebody else. Now, I am going to pull 3 Oracle. That was intense. I'm getting warm. Spirit is up in here. Okay, we have the open heart. New romance is coming, and possibly a twin flame meeting. I think that's why that community card's coming out for you. If you want to start moving into new spaces with new growth, you kind of have to put yourself out there for opportunities to come in. Now, I'm not saying you have to jump on a dating site or anything like that, but what I'm saying is you can't sit inside your office all day and wonder why you're not meeting new friends and new connections, or you're feeling so alone. You do have to allow yourself to open up to that space of receiving. It's coming back to that space of receiving. Now, the next card is imprint. You have left an imprint for all to see. A great impression at work or in the community or at home has been recognized. Well done. Now, that's either going to happen with that 3 of Pentacles, or it's already happening. But either, and like I got that very clearly with the Empress and the Queen of Cups. Like, you, and maybe you don't see this in yourself, but there is such a high regard for who you are as a person. And maybe this is coming out because you need to see yourself through the eyes of other people, because I don't think you realize just how amazing you are. And I think it's time. I think it's time for you to look at your accomplishments and all the great things you do, rather than all the places you assume you've failed, but maybe they just weren't the right path for you, and the universe took you from it. Okay, Capricorn, there's some great things coming in. If this resonated for you, please hit that like button, please subscribe, and I will see you all again next week.